What's up, everyone? Aaron here, part of the Pokebot Collective. And I'm going to keep this Hasbro Core Class ball rolling to start the channel out here that Abe and Mauricio started by taking a look at Hasbro Core Class Vertebreak. So, as you know, Hasbro has reintroduced their former Legends class as Core Class now. And these figures are all pretty good, fun, easy to transform figures. So, figure it'd be a good start to get them up on the channel quick for you guys to take a look at. So, we've got Vertebreak here. And she is looking very cool. According to Hasbro, she is a she. So that is how I will refer to this figure in this review. But yeah, very cool little core class figure. Roughly 3.5 inches tall. And she's a fossilizer, but unlike the deluxe fossilizers, she does not weaponize and break into pieces, just her tail, which she can pull off and use as a sort of sword, serrated sword, what type of weapon. Pretty cool looking. I think it works pretty good. And clearly she can hold it very well. So, let's look at this robot mode, because I love this head sculpt. These awesome, let's get this really focused here. There we go. Awesome head sculpt. Love the goggle look with the eyes and the red paint there on them. Silver face paint. And just this sort of primordial look as far as like the helmet. Very cool. I love it. Her head is on a ball, so you get lots of wiggly waggly and attitude. A little bit of, not very much down, a little bit up, but you know, pretty good amount of attitude. Just this far because of these shoulder hinges. And that's about it. But it's enough. I'm fine with it. So, very cool detail here on the chest piece. Love this silver paint and the Predacon logo there, tampoed on there. Looks very cool. You can see the skull down there forming her crotch. But I think it works pretty well. Her arms are on a ball joint, so you get 360. Same with her elbows, so you can do whatever you want to do with those. No wrist articulation, but that's to be expected. And no waist rotation, but that's sort of to be expected too, especially with how she transforms. So, legs, the hips are on a ball joint as well, so you get a little bit of there. She can kick super far, like way more than all the way, and do the full splits if you need her to. So she got you covered as far as that goes. Knee, a little less than 90, but that's fine on this hinge. And the ankle's on a ball, so that works pretty well. You get some pretty good postability out of that. Feet look pretty good. They're, you know, big enough to keep her very well balanced, but they're also not too big to look goofy. If you ever have any kind of dinosaur figures, it's always important you got to balance those two-legged dinosaurs without having two ridiculously cartoony feet. So, looks pretty good as far as that goes. But yeah, I really like this figure. I like how she looks in robot mode and in her alternate mode. So, but before we get to that, let's do a few legend size comparisons. I'm sure you all have watched reviews by now comparing them with the mainline figures and the other Beast Wars figures, because that's probably how you're using her in your collection. That's pretty much how I am. But here she is with some actual legend scale figures. So there's Light of Justice, Optimus from Magic Square. There's Transform Element, Rat Trap. There's Iron Factory Runabout. There's New Age Skywarp. So, there are some of the biggest third-party companies there. 3 of them anyway. Rat Trap more for the Beast Wars aspect, I guess, right? So, let's get her transformed. Super easy. Take her sword out of her hands. And we'll start. Just open her back up here. And you're going to take all of this. Well, I should also point out that there's a tab right here on her pelvis here that tabs into the lower jaw. So that kind of helps hold that in place a little bit, but it's not going to secure it by any real means, you know. But anyway, hinge here, just pull everything up on this hinge. You're going to rotate her head into the rib cage cavity there. And then just keep going with the head part here and just rotate this piece down. And it's going to rest, if you can see right here, just in that little sort of grooved area on the ribs. And then you can bring that down and just sort of secure that into place. So her arms are on hinges right here. You're just going to rotate them underneath the torso there, just like that. And then you're going to take these little arm parts on hinges and just rotate them down, and they kind of rest, if you've done it right, snugly against the arms there and kind of set in place there. So then all you're doing is straightening the legs out how you want them and just plugging the tail into the hips. And there you go. Vertebreak in her Draco Rex skeleton mode. And she looks very cool. And, you know, now I get to be a dinosaur geek to you guys for a minute. And just tell you that it's cool that they chose a somewhat less known dinosaur. Although, this dinosaur was in the pop culture circles when it was named, because the paleontologist who described and named the dinosaur named it Dracorex hogwartsia, which translated from Latin translates to Dragon King of Hogwarts, which is pretty cool. You know, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but it's pretty awesome to know that just, you know, paleontologists are just pop geeks like all the rest of us. But as far as that goes, you know, Dracorex was a pachycephalosaur dinosaur. You probably know them in the pop lexicon as the dinosaurs that like to butt heads. So that's hypothetical at the time, but it's probable they did probably do something like that. But anyway, but yeah, looking very cool in this mode. I really like it. At first glance, it looks like it's all slate, the slate plastic, but there is some coppery brown paint highlights here throughout. Looks pretty cool. Nice. It nicely breaks it up if you really look at it. As far as head goes, articulation, you do get a ton of it up, but that's for transformation. But that's as far as that goes. You can cheat with that. I'll show you. Her jaw does open, but when you transform her, every time that tab I showed you really pushes that lower jaw, which is kind of a rubbery plastic, softer rubbery plastic, kind of like the tail, compared to the rest of the body. But yeah, she can open pretty wide there if you need her to, but just every time that gets shoved all the way up closed because it's tabbing in there. But yeah, you can kind of cheat here and kind of give her the sort of a head ramming, head butting action if you want, and just kind of do that. And yeah, you can get something like that kind of going. So that's cool. That works. But other than that, the only other articulation you're going to get in this mode is your leg articulation, which is the same as it was in robot mode. So that's about all there is to this mode. But like I said, I really like it. I think it's very cool. And yeah, it's I'm not going to talk about anything anatomical because this is just a transforming toy. But I do have to note how comically low these shoulder blades are. It is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I absolutely love the detail, especially on the head. I didn't even show that off. I mean, now I've talked about the head without showing that off. Like, just all the little indentations and just bones and ossicles. There's your word of the day, kids. Very cool looking. So, do some quick size comparisons with her. Let's do Power of the Primes / there. There's Kingdom Core Class Rat Trap. There's Iron Factory Run Amok. And let's get the car out. There's a DX9 Grimlock. So there's a few size comparisons. Bestial size comparisons. So yeah, Vertebreak, as far as I'm concerned, if you can find this figure, she's a cool one to add to your collection. You should be able to get her pretty cheap still, I would think. So, I want to thank everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any requests of figures that you would like to see us review on the channel, please feel free to tell us in the comments or hit any of the 4 of us up on Instagram. I think between the 4 of us, we probably have you covered on most fronts if you're wanting to see a review of a particular figure. So, that's going to do it for me. Have a good one. Till next time. Later.